Why do you start new projects when you haven't finished others?
When will you start rebuilding your ruin?
We mostly pause or stop projects because we don't have funds.
But our story has never been about the destination. Of course we have goals and we have plans, but the way we live it, we have to be flexible.
Very flexible.
Sometimes I think you are in more of a hurry to see things completed than we are. But try and remember, this is our life, not a show.
So the simple life we wanted, chased and got has remained just that.
Our life here is about the journey, the learning along the way. Becoming better humans for our planet as we learn to minimize our environmental impact.
Doing everything for ourselves, but also just enjoying every day on our quiet farm.
Two dreamers just happy to wake up in this beautiful place.
We've been lucky enough to share our off-grid life with you guys.
But some of you are new here and want to be filled in on things that you might have missed.
And some of you just want to check up on old projects.
So welcome to our Q&A. We have broken it down into sections.
What measures do you take to ensure you have a consistent energy supply?
Thankfully, last year we became Bluetti brand ambassadors, so we have plenty of power now. In the beginning we had a 2 kilowatt system, and in winter and on cloudy days we'd have to start up the generator, which wasn't nice, but now we're good. This winter we didn't use it at all, so it's going on the for sale list.
Nice. Plus some of our Bluetti systems we can carry with us wherever we want onto the land, and we have passed through some rough terrain with our Bluettis, places that we could definitely not go to with our generator. We also make sure that all our Bluettis are topped up when we know we're going to have a lot of cloudy days, and also Luke postpones a few of the projects that need a lot of power tools.
How do you ensure water quality, and do you have water available to you all year round?
We do have a well over here, but it is limited. We found that out the first couple of years when we planted stuff everywhere.
And by the middle of summer we were just running out of water, so we had to quit on a few of the gardens that we prepared and just focus on the one next to our gypsy caravan.
We do have another well and the water mine as well, but it's really far away. It's on the other side of the land next to the ruin, which will come into play once we move to the ruin. We're also bordered by a river. It isn't full all year round, but yeah, we'll be able to do something in the future.
Yeah, maybe a ram pump, but when we're closer to the ruin.
At the moment it's just too far away.
Yeah. And as in drinking water, we do not drink water from the well yet. I'm pretty sure it's safe. We do use it for our pasta. And
we boil it for 5 minutes. We haven't tested it basically, but I need to put a proper cover on it, not just shade cloth. So once it's covered and it's a sealed unit, then I'll test it and we'll see.
Yeah, but we do get water from a local spring and it is delicious.
Why do you have the animals you have right now?
Well, we have pigs to try this glaying thing, which is to seal ponds, which is an experiment. We've never done it before, so we're trying it out. Hopefully after we sell a couple of the baby wild boar piggies, things will settle in back to normal, because at the moment we've got 15 pigs, Maggie is sick, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, and the chickens we have for company. Sure, they're a really good company. No, the chickens we have for eggs, of course, and we love I love just going and collecting the eggs every day. And the thing is, sometimes we have so many eggs that our chickens feed our pigs and us, and they feed Molly and Timmy, so they really do their part around here.
Yeah. We want to get more animals in the future, but not before we build the ruin and have everything set up properly over there.
Yes.
We've learned that lesson.
Which brings us to the next question. What is that?
Do you regret getting rid of your goats?
The answer is a very simple no. There's no regret there. We learned a lot. I'm very happy we had them. But the whole experience, as amazing as it was very stressful. And it was a whole day of hard work that the goats gave us. They were very challenging.
The amount of work involved, especially because we're amateurs and we had to learn everything, and we weren't set up completely to have goats. And we should have had lots of terraces all fenced, you know, so we can open for them in the morning and then pick them up in the evening. But we didn't have that, so Sarah would spend 2 walks a day, a couple of hours each minimum. That's 4 hours of your daylight gone, and then the milking and the making cheese, cleaning all the containers to make the cheese and the pump, and it just built up so much work for quite a lot of milk and cheese and yogurt we used to make. But we don't eat or drink that much dairy. I mean, we do buy it, but it's not in those quantities.
No.
And we were curing cheese as well, but yeah, compared to the work at the situation we're in now, the setup we have now, it's just too much work.
Too much work.
It was tougher on Sarah, because yeah, she used to spend all the time with them. Yeah. But no.
No, so no regrets.
Best decision ever.
Yeah, best decision, but
I miss they're cool to have, and jumping on the boulders. Yes. It's so nice.
I miss them a lot, because I do miss their antics. They're very funny animals, you know, they're really sweet to watch. Daisy had the sweetest nature, but I do not miss the work. Not one bit.
And even though we always wanted goats, sometimes you have to make choices and say later, you know, and yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's just the wrong time.
She's losing her pregnancy weight, guys.
How did your Kuni pigs get pregnant by wild boar, and what plans do you have to make sure it doesn't happen again?
Well, birds and the bees. These two gallivant all over the place.
Yeah, we don't have any fencing, so when the girls decided it was time to get pregnant,
when they were horny,
they went to look for a wild boar, and they found one.
No doubt, no doubt.
Maggie found one first, Peppa found one a month later, and these cute babies are the result of it. But yeah, Maggie is having problems.
It might be because they're too demanding, and their Kuni is a small breed. They're very docile, very friendly. They're renowned to be a friendly breed. And wild boar are what they are.
Yeah.
Wild! We'll definitely try we'll try not to let this happen again, basically. So now we have fencing with their home inside. We'll still let them out because Maggie and Peppa both have been free spirits with us over here. Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure it will be too cage-like for them, just having however big that area is. Yeah. But we'll let them out on days when they're not on heat.
Exactly. And we'll do our best to keep them in when they are.
Hopefully we'll get a male once we sell most of these wild boar mixes. We'll get a Kuni male from my friend Cindy, so at least he can keep them satisfied.
Look how sweet they are.
And hopefully they'll have tiny little Kuni babies, not big old crazy wild boars.
No matter how cute they are, you know, they're
wild. They're wild.
Do you grow all your own food?
Definitely not. Not even close. We do our best, you know, and summer's better than winter. But yeah, we're never really going to be totally self-sufficient. It's pretty impossible, I think. We're going to be growing rice and wheat.
Yeah, it's hard, you know, like it's hard work. If you're growing your own all your own food, you're spending all your day growing your own food.
But there is nothing like picking our own veggies from the garden, eating it, and really appreciating all the hard work that went into growing every single delicious morsel. Which brings us to what happens to all the vegetables that do not make it onto our plates.
How do you deal with waste, organic and non-organic materials?
Well, I was hoping you would ask about our waste. Come with me, let me show you our organic waste management team. There's our pigs that get first dibs at the veggies we don't want. And then whatever our pigs don't eat, we give to our chickens. And then whatever our chickens don't fancy, we give to our worms. And whatever our worms can't eat, we put in the compost bin. This is our waste management corner, organic and non-organic. We have our 3 compost bins, and in them we put the scraps that no one else wants. And then once it's full and it's breaking down, we move on to the second bin. And over here we have our bottle cleaning station, because we keep all the glass and jars that we have. We wash them here and we put them in here. And we are saving them for some future projects. We also try to cut down on as much plastic as possible, but of course we still have that waste. So we do fill bins like you do, and Luke takes them to the recycling. Now, cardboard is my favorite waste because there's so many uses for it. Actually, it's not a waste, it's a resource. So we use it for our worm bins. We put it in our beds in the garden as mulch. I make little plant pots for our seedlings. And when it's a real mess and overused, we compost it. Now for everyone's favorite subject. Maybe not. Our poo, what do we do with it? We do have two systems. One is a vermicomposting toilet, and it's in our gypsy caravan. And that means we have a regular flushing toilet, but the difference is that worms eat our poo and toilet paper. And our other system is my favorite one. It's our compost toilet, and this is the one I use. It's out in the open with a beautiful view. Ta-da! And you just do your business and put sawdust on top. And then once the buckets are full, we put them in these big bins to cure for 3 years. And it makes some amazing humanure for our trees and bushes.
How do you stay connected? While living so remotely, is loneliness something you deal with?
We have a few friends we've made since we've been here, and we do go to their place, they come to ours, but we're all so busy. If you spend the day going to someone else's house and when they come here, that's just days of work gone.
Yeah.
So we are sociable, but not crazy sociable.
We enjoy meeting friends, and we have made some lovely friends. And loneliness, yeah, it just doesn't even come into it because we're just too busy to feel lonely.
We like it like this.
Yeah, we do like it like this.
What steps have you taken to reduce your environmental footprint?
Well, I mean, we're on solar, so that's already a big thing, I guess. We're on well water. We don't flush our poo into the sewer, and grey water doesn't go into the sewer either. It goes into our plants. We don't use much plastic. We grow a bit of food, not everything. As for sustainable, I mean, I have cut down quite a few pine trees on our land, but that's not because I wanted the wood, really. It's to get rid of the processionary pine caterpillar, which always poses a threat to our animals. But we always plant either cork oaks or holm oaks, and we've got a few paulownias now, which is a very fast-growing tree. But we're seeing how it goes this winter, basically, because when they're young, they really can't handle the frost. So before we invest in more trees, we want to just make sure we know what to do with them and also to set up the irrigation for them, because it's useless.
Yeah.
Everyone says plant trees, but you need to set up irrigation in Portugal for them, otherwise they won't survive the whole year and grow until they don't need any water.
What resources do you still rely on from the grid?
So we have reduced our petrol usage significantly since we became brand ambassadors for Bluetti, and they sent us so many units. We don't use the generator anymore. I've got a little handheld chainsaw to clear land with. It's been the pumps are electric now as well.
Yes.
So we really have reduced, but we do still use gas for the barbecue and for this pizza oven thing.
Which seems to be going up in price forever.
I think it's the most expensive in Europe, especially compared to the average wage.
Yeah.
I will eventually, when I get around to it, try and build a little biodigester. I've been planning to do it for ages, but another project. Spring water we get from the village, that's another resource. And even the car. I mean, I try to go shopping once every 3 weeks to 4 weeks if I'm not working on an intense project where I forget to buy screws or whatever. But we try to not use the car as much as possible. So, and we don't go to work every day on public transport. I mean, that's a huge part of
That's a huge part
or
of it.
driving to work, back and forth.
And we do recycle things, which makes a big difference. Like, we don't throw away a lot of things. We keep them for future projects to reuse,
look
like
around.
our bottles. Yeah.
We try to organize it, but sometimes things get out of hand or you can't control it,
Yeah.
How is the biochar working? Do you still use it?
We had made about 10 burns when I first built it, but it was built as a prototype. And then I took it apart again, all the fire bricks and everything. But I will incorporate it into something, because one of the most important things about biochar, one of the many important things rather, is to use the heat that you're doing with the burn instead of just wasting it. So be it heating the outdoor kitchen maybe, or heating a greenhouse. We'll have to find what works best for us, but nothing happens before the outdoor kitchen is
No.
built.
But that will be soon.
But I learned a lot doing it, and yeah, we've put all the biochar we had into the soil.
Yeah.
We need much more, so we will definitely be doing it again. Biochar is awesome!
Yeah! And now for this next question, I'm going to take you on a little bit of a walk.
How is the secret garden going? And have any of Sarah's plants survived?
This question must be answered while on my walk, because I'm going to show you the secret garden. I really enjoyed clearing this secret garden. It was a surprise for Luke. Then I ended up planting some beans and peas. Some things grew, most things didn't. It's very far from where we live, and things have gotten so busy lately that it's very hard for me to do any work that's away from where we're living at the moment. But it's a beautiful place, and when we move to the ruin, this is the back wall over here, we will definitely be doing something in the secret garden. It's very wet and damp, and Luke's idea is to grow mushrooms there, and I think they'll do pretty well. The entrance to the secret garden. It's still super beautiful. Nothing's growing except weeds, ferns, ivy, birds singing, water flowing. It's beautiful. And when it rains a lot, we have such a sweet waterfall in the back. And not too much light shines in. That's why I think I had problems growing anything here. So I think it would be perfect for mushrooms. It's just beautiful and so quiet. Oh, mushroom, perfect. Now back to Nia, Luke. We need to be together to answer these next questions.
What has been your greatest area of self-growth over the past 5 years, both individually and as a couple?
For me, I think patience a little bit. I mean, I was very impatient back when we used to live in Malta. Not while traveling, but in Malta, yeah, the city life and the traffic and the rush used to get to me. But here I'm much more patient, as in even I used to, when I do a project, I'd want to finish it in one day and rush, and now I'm like, these things take time.
And for me, I think it's dealing with things that I was scared to deal with, like death, for example, because when you have animals, when you have a lot of animals on your land, you're going to deal with death a lot more often than other people do. Sick animals. I've learned how to deal with blood,
Giving injections.
You know, you get a lot of this experience, and it's made me into a better carer, I guess.
And I think as a couple, we've spent many years traveling together, and we're always, what's next, and we're always planning. But since we've been here, number one, it's the longest time we've stayed in one place since we've been together, since we were 20 or 21. And with no plan to leave, which is strange for us.
Yeah,
normally we're always planning to go there. Now it's, I want to do this on the land.
What are the hardest parts about living off-grid in Portugal, especially being on a low budget?
In the first few years, I would have liked to have hired an electrician and maybe a plumber till I got my skills up to scratch. But I guess it turned into a positive because I ended up having to do it myself and learning along the way and taking that step where like I'm not too fond of installing electricity, but I ended up doing it. You know what I mean? And I learned from it, so it turned into a positive.
Because we have to live according to the seasons, it's really hard because we always have a lot to do. And come summer, we want to do so much. We've got a lot of to-do lists, and we, throughout the day, barely cross off any. And then we feel like we've wasted the day.
Yeah, in summer in Portugal, it's really hot, especially here in the centre. You really can't do much work unless you're in the shade, maybe between 10:30 and 6.
That's a huge chunk of your day.
It is, and it's frustrating because I want to do so much and just can't do it during those times. If I had a workshop maybe with a nice fan or an AC, I'd do loads in summer.
One day.
We'll get there eventually.
And about being on a low budget, yes, it's a challenge sometimes, but we get to be creative, we get to repurpose things, and we actually enjoy using what we have.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really go without, you know. We do all right on a low budget, and it's quite rewarding, I think.
What parts of living off grid do you enjoy the most?
The freedom that comes with this life, the walks on the land, being able to just go outside the door and look at nature and watch the bees, the flowers, all the different seasons. Everything about this life. I enjoy it so much.
Freedom for sure for me, the freedom to do what I want, as in project-wise. So if I don't feel like finishing a project, I can go and do something else.
Do you ever regret buying such a big piece of land?
Definitely not. It is a lot of work, and there's a lot of work to be done. We're nowhere near where we want to be, but yeah, it's just awesome. We had a really bad experience in Malta, our house. We had some terrible neighbors, and when we came to choose a piece of land, we didn't want it this big, but big enough to not have neighbors so close to us.
Yeah.
It's just nice to have all this. I love it. Molly, do you enjoy having a big piece of land, or do you regret it? She's like, it's not big enough.
Molly thinks she needs a bigger piece of land. Hey, she already owns all the way down to the road, so hey.
She doesn't know where the real borders are.
What gives you your motivation when you are doing hard jobs and you are at your lowest?
It depends what I'm doing. If I'm clearing land like I was doing a few weeks ago, it's just seeing the next bit and the next bit and the other canal and the other terrace, and that kind of urges me on. Otherwise, if I'm really low and doing something I really hate, like sanding or painting, sanding and painting, yeah, I just think of the next immediate little job that I have to do. Even if it's a bigger project, I kind of go on to that one task, simple task, and say, okay, I'm going to do this now. And then while I do that, I think about what's the next simple task that needs to be done. And I do that. I just play it step by step. And yeah, then I look around and I'm over it. I'm over being down.
Because at the end of the day, we work for ourselves. So if we don't get it done, then we're the ones who don't see the finished product. And for me, I mean, the most I spend is editing the videos. So sometimes I just don't feel like, because I know it's going to take so long and I have so much footage and so much to do on the farm. But the thing that keeps me going is, number one, I really enjoy watching our videos. And I know that in the future, we're going to really enjoy looking back on them and seeing the work that we did. And also, this is our dream. So if we don't work hard for it, we're not going to accomplish it. And that's the most important thing, that we keep living this life that we
We really want what we want to accomplish.
Yeah.
So without hard work, it's not going to happen.
No.
So yeah,
So that's
just
the
plow on
motivation.
through.
Are you ever worried that you won't make enough from YouTube?
Actually, no, because the way we live our life, we live within our means. So if we earn less one month, we try to spend less
Yeah,
that month.
don't buy any materials for any projects.
So we pause things, like Luke said in the beginning. There's reasons why we pause projects or stop them completely, because of funds. And we are very flexible that way.
But I mean, the wage we get from YouTube isn't huge, you know. And thankfully we have Patreon now. I've seen a few messages where people say, "Oh, I can't afford to be a Patreon, and I feel left out when you mentioned Patreon, or you have to understand, if it wasn't for patrons, you wouldn't be seeing our videos. So if you're a fan of our channel and can't afford to be a patron, it's cool, obviously, but you can't expect us not to give the patrons something for supporting us.
No, and if you do enjoy our channel and you're not a patron, you can thank the patrons, because they're the reason why we are still here. You all make our channel what it is, but the patrons and the channel members give us an extra boost so we can actually keep making these videos, because otherwise we'd have to go and find jobs. And if we find jobs, we don't have time for YouTube. We'll just have jobs on the farm.
Yeah.
What audio-video equipment do you use? How has it changed from when you first started out?
Our equipment hasn't really changed from when we first started. Actually, we started out with a GoPro 4. And this is a GoPro 9, and we do have a GoPro 12, which I'm using just now. We find them really good cameras. We're always out and about working. They're always hanging from something or in the face of danger when Luke is working. Now, GoPro are not known for their great sound, so we have mod cons that case the camera, and the sound is pretty good. We have no complaints, but sometimes when it's really windy, we use our Rode mics. Thank you, Dirk. But we don't use them often, just because there's too much going on and we like to keep it simple. When filming projects, animals, it's just so much easier to keep it simple and use equipment that's pretty hardy. We have dropped our GoPros so many times and they're still kind of in one piece. What has changed a lot from when we first started was our setup. Now we have a nice stand that we can keep it on. In the beginning we were hanging it from things, from ladders, from trees. Now thinking back, it's crazy, we just didn't get a tripod straight away. In saying that, our equipment maybe hasn't changed much, but we have learned a lot about how to film and where to film from and the editing side of things. So we love that process and we love making videos. But we still do feel an overkill camera would be crazy on our land, because filming the animals, filming our projects, our cameras have been through some crazy times, some crazy falls, and they're still in one piece. So we love GoPro.
When will you rebuild your ruin?
Realistically, next year. Not this year. No, I want to finish the outdoor kitchen, so then we can get all the furniture that's in storage in the yurt, and finally have a working yurt, outdoor kitchen, gypsy caravan, and the tiny caravan. So then we can have 2 up to 6 volunteers at one time, which would be amazing. We have gotten a lot of emails and messages asking to volunteer, but we're just not ready for it yet. We want it to be comfortable for you and for us. We like our alone time as well. I'm sure you do too as well, you know. Don't want to be 24/7 stuck together all the time. So we have to have the facilities to provide that, you know.
Yeah.
We'll get there eventually. My biggest goal is to finish the outdoor kitchen this year.
And also we have started a GoFundMe for the ruins, so when we are ready to get up and start, we'll have a nice chunk to do it.
Yeah. It's not going to be, we need this whole amount to start, you know what I mean?
No.
We're going to put the roof on the small room first and do that, and then slowly work our way out, basically. So yeah, we'll get there.
Yep, and if you believe in our project and want to give a little bit of a something, I left the link in the description below for our GoFundMe. So that is the end of our Q&A. We'll be doing another one sometime next year, maybe.
That's the goal we have for next year.
So I hope you enjoyed it, and join us in our next video.
Take it easy, guys.